Welcome to today's world. Public service announcements designed to get us through lockdown. I don't know about you, but life in quarantine really makes me feel like Harry Potter. Not so much a wizard, more just a guy locked in a cupboard. First up, a message from the government.
When your daughter goes to work for the first time, the excitement she feels with her own money to spend and crowds of new friends. Maybe she won't care what job she does before the gloss wears off. She may get married and have a family. And it's only when she thinks about working again that she'll feel let down, going back to unskilled work. But if she gets help to prepare for a satisfying job now, then later on, she'll have a career to go on with. Make sure your daughter sees her careers teacher at school and the local careers officer.
Remember, girls, go see your school's career advisor about jobs today. Only joking, there's no schools or jobs anymore. But don't want your education to stagnate? Here's Ross Foley on learning a language.
Salute. My name Ross Foley, and as the popular band Flink Poyd once sang, "Hey, teacher, leave them kids alone." Unfortunately, that's proven to be something of a curse, and the kids are being left alone by teachers these days because of coronavirus as everyone's set inside. The youth of this Britain, UK, has gone from watermelon brains to peanut brains, and every day it gets worse. And I, for one, as a daddy, I'm just not going to accept it. I've been teaching my kids at home, or home teaching. Zork, aged 9, Zilly, aged 9, and my personal least favourite, Pob, aged 12. So my hope is that by recording the lessons that I will be teaching my children, you can use them to teach your children. The lesson that I have in mind today is called European languages. And despite what some people might say, there is a value to European languages. Whether it's in hotel or restaurant or when receiving the bill de fare, European languages can help you and your children become citizens of the world. So join me with my first lesson today, and it is German language. Now we're going to start with some everyday German phrases, such as you might overhear in a meat market in Hamburg or a meat market in Munich. And it's my hope that by repeating these phrases after me, the language of German will start to seep into your head like piss into a flannel. Now I'll say the phrase first in English, then I'll repeat in the German, and you repeat in the German.
Deutschland, Germany.
Let's start with our first phrase. Rodney, you plonker. Rodney, du Pimmel. Rodney, you plonker. Rodney, du Pimmel. Now you try. Very good. Let's move on to our next phrase. I am a black belt in origami. Ich bin ein schwarzer Gürtel in origami. I am a black belt in origami. Ich bin ein schwarzer Gürtel in origami, Rodney. Now you try. Very good. You're a natural at German. Let's try our third phrase, and this one's a bit harder. It's one that Del Boy used in episode 3 of series 7 of Only Fools and Horses. Don't worry, Rodney. This time next year, we'll be millionaires. Mach dir keine Sorgen, Rodney. Nächstes Jahr um diese Zeit werden wir Millionär sein. This is the kind of phrase you'll hear Germans use on an almost daily basis. So learning it will be really helpful if you ever take a trip over there. Why don't you give it a go? Keep practicing every day, 5 times an hour, for 5 hours a day, for the next 5 days, and those phrases should start to absorb into your brain.
Thanks, Ross. We'll catch up with you later in the show. Next up on Today's World, have you ever wondered what life will be like after lockdown? Here's Stuart McPherson and Amy Matthews.
The coronavirus is the greatest global crisis since the Second World War.
So maybe we'll look back on the pandemic in a similar way.
It's time to look to the future and imagine what that might look like.
If the war is anything to go by. One good sitcom will come out of it, the rest will be garbage.
There'll be loads of dog shit poems written about it that will be taught in schools forever.
Countless films will be made about it and played on Channel 5 until we die. Tom Hanks and Gary Oldman will be in all of them.
Prince Harry will insensitively dress as COVID-19 at a party, but that will be broadly fine.
The crisis will be exploited by John Lewis to make a tear-jerking advert at Christmas to sell us very expensive shit.
Primary schools will have coronavirus dress-up days where kids will be expected to wear onesies and straitjackets.
We'll use this period of crisis to realise that women are useful.
At Halloween, if you lack imagination, you will wear a sexy hazmat suit.
Virgins will act out the pandemic in fields at the weekend.
Hygiene masks will be sold in vintage shops for hipster pricks to wear at Glastonbury.
We'll look back on this absolutely dogshit time as the glory days of Britain. Every Christmas we'll sit down and piss on any joy left in the room by insisting our entire family sit down and watch Contagion at 3 p.m, which no one will question because of the respect that we earned having lived through the pandemic.
And now, Ben Verth with a powerful message on how we can get through these difficult times.
Hi, it's me, stand-up comedian and therefore relic of a dead age, Ben Verth. I think we all understand now how important it is to rely on the small things to keep us sane while we get through this. Little small acts of support, little acts of rebellion to keep you going. One of my favourites I thought I'd share with you is touching my face. It's one of the things that the government tells you not to do, touching your face with an unwashed hand, your eyes or in your nose or in your mouth. That's how it gets in to then COVID up a storm in your. I mean, I don't know if that's a medical term or not. I'm pretty sure it's not a medical term. These are it's not just windows to the souls, it's windows to your respiratory system. Am I right, doctors? I like nothing better to just touch my face. And I thought I'd share that with you, with this moment. I thought I'd share that. So first thing, wash the hands. Carex, we're not a fussy household. Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday, Mr. President. Ooh, happy birthday to me. Dry your hands thoroughly. Then just touch your face. Good old neck. Take that, Boris. This is my time. I'll be out in a minute. Too much. Oh, that is some face touching. Right.
Thanks, Ben. While you touched your face, you also touched our souls. Know what else is touching? When someone like you donates to keep us on the air. For as little as £15,000, you can ensure that I don't have to work very hard during this crisis. Failing that, any donation you thought was appropriate would help preserve live comedy and put food on the plates of our contributors. You can help by visiting the donation link in the description of this video and giving whatever you can. Seriously, every little helps. Please remain seated for a message from the government.
Judy, I thought the faucets were away. They are, to the end of the month.
Well, they've got visitors.
Must have come back unexpected.
If something doesn't look right, tell the police. Hundreds of cars are stolen every day. If you're suspicious, note the number and tell the police. If there's something funny going on, dial 999. There are many hundreds of calls every 24 hours. Every one is investigated. Often there's nothing to it, but sometimes you save a neighbor an awful lot of trouble. The police don't mind how many calls they get, and remember, the next call might be about your house.
Let's check back in with Ross Foley and see what's next on our lesson plan.
You did a great job with the German there, and I was really proud of you as if you were my own son. But without any further ado, let's move on to our next language, which is Italian. And the Italian language is slightly different to German because it comes from a different place. Our first phrase in Italian goes as follows. One ticket to the Nutty Professor, please. Un biglietto per il professore matto, per favore. Il professore matto, per favore. And you'll notice that that's slightly different to the phrase in English. You give it a go. Very good. Very good. I think we're ready to move on to our next phrase. My favourite film is The Nutty Professor. Il mio film preferito è Il professore matto. Or a variation on that phrase that you might want to use would be, my favourite film is The Nutty Professor 2, The Clumps, which would go like this. Il mio film preferito è Il professore matto 2, I Clump. And you can use your own experience and your own personality to decide which one of those you want to practice, whether you prefer Nutty Professor 1 or Professor 2, The Clumps. I prefer The Clumps, so let's just give that another go. Il mio film preferito è Il professore matto 2, Il Clump. Very good. You're really getting the hang of Italian. Let's move on to our next phrase. And this is one based on my personal experience, which you can obviously use and personalize in your own way. I'm going to the big clump convention with my dork son, Zork. I'm going to the big clump convention with my dork son, Zork. Vado alla grande convenzione di clump con mio figlio dork, Zork. Con mio figlio dork, Zork. And you could obviously replace Zork with your own son or daughter. You have a daughter named Sharon. Vado alla grande convenzione di clump con mio figlio dork, Sharon. Or whatever works for you. Why don't you give that phrase a go? Brilliant. You're a real natural at Italian. So let's move on to our final phrase, and once again this one's a little harder, but you're advancing nicely. My dork Zork is number 2 clump boy. Grumpy old me is clumper number 1. My dork Zork is number 2 clump boy. Grumpy old me is clumper number 1. And now follow the Italian after me. Il mio dork Zork è il numero 2 di clump boy. Il vecchio scontroso me è il numero 1 di clumper. 1 di clumper. Brilliant, brilliant. You really are brilliant at Italian. And the plan for you is just to practice these Italian phrases every day when you wake up and when you go to bed, and then just when you're going about your business during the day. And eventually Italian will become second nature to you, as is watching clump movies to me.
Grazie Rosfoli, lo apprezzo tanto. E ora un messaggio da Delightful Sausage.
The Delightful Sausage are a double act who've been joined at the hip for the last 3 years. They wanted to self-isolate together, but Chris's wife was a total bitch about it. So now Chris and Amy are being forced to finally enjoy some alone time.
Sometimes I come out here and think what I'd do if somebody ever tried to come in here and harm my family. I'd probably fucking kill him, you know.
Oh. Where did that one go?
What do you think of that? Zeus. So look at the... Don't fucking come near me.
That's all from us today on Today's World. Don't forget, you can donate to this show and its contributors with the link in the description to this video. Fancy becoming one of our contributors? Send us your public service announcement submissions to actbooking@monkeybarrelcomedy.com, and if we can, we'll add them to the show. See you on the next episode. Bye! What?